ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive. Winner of the 2024 West Virginia Broadcasters Association Excellence in Broadcasting Award for Best Talk Show.
It is Friday, and we're ready to go. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to get things started at the text line coming up, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Final weekend without Marshall sports for a while. Of course, the Thundering Herd off tomorrow. Back in action next week. And, of course, we'll get back into our normal game day routine. We've got basketball coming up as well, and we're going to hear a little bit more from the head coaches of the two respective teams that you'll get to see on Sunday. Marshall women's coach Juli Fulks, we'll get her comments in a few minutes. Also, we'll hear from Marshall men's coach Cornelius Jackson. So we're going to hear from them. And, of course, it is a high school football Friday night across the tri-state. Several games to tell you about. Huntington High is taking on Capital. That's coming up tonight. We go on the air at 7 o'clock right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We also have the video stream available on our website, WRVC.com, and our Facebook page as well. We've also got Cabell Midland at South Charleston coming up tonight on 97.9 The River, and Spring Valley will be taking on Woodrow Wilson. That's also coming up tonight on 92.7 and 98.5 The Planet. That's a 7:30 kick. And we're going to be talking to Dicky Martin in a few minutes. Ashland taking on Johnson Central. That's a big one coming up tonight. Both teams are undefeated in the district, so this might not mean the winner gets the district. What am I talking about? Of course it means the winner gets the district. Both teams are 3-0, so District 6 pretty much on the line tonight. Johnson Central at Ashland. Dicky Martin joins us in the next few minutes. We will catch up with him, and of course we will hear from you, so I'm looking forward to it. We've got a busy week ahead of us, and of course, we've got the World Series. How great is this? This is probably the best time of the year. I'm sure you realize this by now. We've got college football. We've got college basketball. We've also got the start of the NBA. We have the NHL already in full swing. We've got the NFL. We've got the World Series. So we got the Big Four and the college sports all going on pretty much at the same time. It's a busy time, but it's also got to be the greatest time of the year for sports fans. Of course, I'm flipping back and forth. I've got a little NBA action. I'm watching hockey yesterday. I'm watching college football. And hey, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Last night, Old Dominion did Marshall a solid, beat Georgia Southern 47-19. So we still need to see Georgia Southern drop one, and Marshall's got to win out. Now, there's some things that have to happen here. This isn't just automatic, but right now, in the league, Old Dominion's 3-1. Georgia Southern, 3-1. Marshall, 2-1, has the week off, so Marshall will be able to catch back up. But hey, Marshall's in the hunt for an East Division title. The door opened up a little bit. Now, Marshall has to do its part, has to win out. Doesn't matter what happened last night. Marshall has to win out. And if Marshall can win out, and then you can hope that down the line, maybe Georgia Southern stumbles. And of course, you take care of your business. You don't have to worry about anything else. That's the good news. You take care of the teams in front of you. You don't have to worry about anything else. The only team you got to worry about right now is still Georgia Southern. But the door opened a little bit last night for an East Division title. What'd I tell you? And they beat them good, too, 47-19. This wasn't just a fluky win. This was a dominating performance from Old Dominion. How about that? 3-1 in league play now. I knew they could do it. I absolutely knew they could do it. I knew they had that in them. So you got to be excited right now for where the Thundering Herd's at. Still a chance. But, of course, next week you got to take care of that business ahead of you, and you got to take care of the business the rest of the way. But if I'm Coach Huff, I'm looking at my players and saying, look, this thing isn't over. Don't quit now. This thing isn't over just yet. We still have football to play. Of course, you remember when the head coach of the Thundering Herd was Bob Pruitt. You remember back then? And he would always say, he would even say in this studio here when we did the Don Nealon and Bob Pruitt show, in November to remember. They remember what you do in November. Well, we're almost out in October. It's time for November. And if you can finish strong in November, that's what they're going to remember you for. So that's what the message is. I know I drive by the stadium now and then, and I get glimpses of it. They've got their special messages on the scoreboard. Yeah, execution season is now. I think that's the last one I saw when I drove by. I think it was yesterday or the day before. But it was execution season. That was what was on the scoreboard a couple of nights ago. And so that's true. It is execution season. You have to put your best foot forward. Cliche as that is, you have to do that. You have to put together the best November you can and finish strong, take care of your business. Hopefully you get another crack at this, because if Georgia Southern falters anywhere else and you can win out, you get the East Division title and you get to go play in the conference championship game. That would be a first in the Sun Belt. That would be a first for Marshall since 20, what was it? Was it 20? But at least to win the East Division. That's what we're looking at here. And that's a start for this program. We haven't seen that under Coach Huff. And that's what we're looking for right now. We're looking for a shot at a championship. That's what we're looking for here. And of course, it was a disappointing 2020. I go back now. I'm remembering a little bit more now. I remember, of course, that was the COVID year also. And so Marshall losing the championship game to UAB 22-13. 22-13, losing the championship game. And you end up playing on Christmas Day. I remember that well. Christmas Day in Montgomery, Alabama against Buffalo and Buffalo Beach 17-10. So that's the last time Marshall has had a legitimate shot at a championship. And that was in 2020. So it's been a few years. But it's also a different conference now. It's also a situation where this is a new league. You're hoping that you move up and better opportunities here for you in the new league. And so far, this hasn't manifested itself with a East Division title. I mean, that's the start. That's the minimum for me always. Like, can the Herd win the division title? What do you think is a standard for Marshall football? Well, winning season's given. You have to have a winning season. But the standard always for me is, okay, did they win the division? What's the lowest thing you'll take and it'd be a successful year? Well, winning, obviously. But win the division, shot at the championship. That's what we're here for. And again, you can thank Bob Pruitt for spoiling us all by playing for championships and then telling everyone, hey, look, we play for championships. So that's where we're at right now. Long story short, the door is back open for the Thundering Herd right now after Old Dominion took care of Georgia Southern last night. Hopefully the Herd can do its part, and then you just hope that something good happens. I mean, you can at least get a share of the crown. A share of the crown. What you're playing for, hopefully, is the championship game berth. That's what you're looking for here. Let's talk high school football when we continue. Dicky Martin will join us. He is the voice of the Ashland Tomcats. A showdown in District 6 tonight. Johnson Central, they're 7-2, 3-0 in the district. Ashland, 7-1, 3-0 in the district. This one pretty much is going to settle a lot of things. It's coming up tonight. We've got it for you on our sister station, Cat Sports in 93.3 and 1340. Dicky Martin on the other side of the break here on The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
You've cut back on everything, and you're still coming up short at the end of the month. Give your local State Farm agent a call for a free discount double check. They'll show you how something as simple as combining car and home policies can save you hundreds of dollars a year. Being there to help keep more of your money is why your local State Farm agent is here. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Lex, I got a question for you about our friends over at K&B Pest Control.
Shoot.
Do you think they'll eliminate my mother-in-law?
I think so.
She's in the house, kind of pesky.
From what I understand, they'll kill for your business, so you might want to have a talk.
No, these guys are great, man. Locally owned and operated in Huntington, West Virginia, serving the tri-state area. Free estimates, highly skilled staff. There's specialized training and inspections and solutions. So no matter what's going on, they'll figure it out. They'll find out where these pests are coming from, and they will eliminate them.
Yep, and you can even do comparisons with their Facebook page. They got real pest pics. This is when the critters start coming out, Terrence, so If you're seeing problems like they have on their Facebook page, call 304-523-4281.
Go ahead and ask for Patrick or Becca. They will hook you up. We promise you it's knbpestcontrol.com. Go ahead and hit them up online as well. K&B Pest Control, they will kill for your business.
Trust the guys with over 40 years of experience at K&B Pest Control.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, all dinners served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Stay safe on the roads with Rain-X Vision Beam Wiper Blades, now at Menards. For over 40 years, Rain-X has provided drivers with products to help them outsmart the elements. Rain-X Vision Beam Wiper Blades are easy to install and are designed to provide a smooth, streak-free wipe every time. Save big money on all Rain-X product, now at Menards. And don't forget to check out our flyer on menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year again, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Friday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Joining us now, he's a well-rested Dicky Martin. He did work last night, but he had last week off, and he joins us now on the program.
There you go.
First time back since last week. You had a blowout in the Ashland Kiwanis Bowl, a blowout, 36-0.
Yeah, it was. And the good thing about it is they play their quarters are shortened from the normal varsity 12 minutes down to 8. And then, of course, we got a running clock. So I was home by 9-ish or so and ready to rock and roll for tonight. This is the big one, Coach.
Yeah, it is a big one. So this is the finale for regular season for Johnson Central. Ashland still has one to go. But
correct.
The thing you got to look at the schedule here is that both teams are 3-0 in District 6, so that means the winner of this one wins the district.
Right, number one seed, which will guarantee you 2 home games if you win your first playoff game, which you should, and a real good shot at hosting the third one, and maybe even I'd say 50-50 shot of hosting the fourth one, which would be a semifinal of the state. So it's a big game, a lot on the line tonight, and 2 pretty good football teams.
Yeah, Ashland's been solid all year, and I think that's really underselling how good Ashland's been. The only team that really could probably stand up to Ashland was the team that beat Ashland out of Ohio, Harvest Preparatory. Other than that, Ashland has, for the most part, had a cakewalk. I don't want to disparage your schedule, but
I agree.
Let's call it what it is. Yeah, there was some garbage time in that Boyd County game. Other than that, Ashland's had its way with everybody.
Yeah, I would agree with you. They're putting points on the board. Excuse me, and their defense continues to improve each and every week. You know, you're holding teams to 2 touchdowns or less in this 5-game winning streak we're on. So, you know, on the average, when you can hold a team to 12 or 14 points and you can put up 30 or 40, you should win the football game. It's that simple.
You look at Johnson Central this year. Their only losses come against Madison Central and Corbin. That Corbin game was really close. It was a 56-51 victory. Other than that, they have almost had their way with a lot of their opponents. Yeah,
yep,
there was a no defense clause apparently in that Greenup County game, but
Apparently.
They can put up a lot of points, but
they can.
This is a game that looks like to me that they're going to have to put up a lot of points because I don't think they can stop Ashland.
Well, that's our belief. I don't think Johnson Central can stop Ashland with all our weapons and all our varied offenses, running the football, passing the football. And it's going to come down to Ashland's defense trying to stop Johnson Central's offense, which is a monster. I mean, they run the wishbone, they run the double wing, they come at you, and they don't pull any punches. There's no trick plays or nothing. They say they're going to fill up the backfield and say we're going to run it off the right tackle, left tackle, or right up the gut. If you can stop us, fine. If not, we're going to thump your butt. And so it's going to be tough, physical, violent football game. And Ashland's got to be, but they talk about sports being physical and contact sports. Well, I put basketball into the contact physical level. I put football in the violent level. If you're violent, then you can win football games. And Ashland's got to be violent tonight. That's all there is to it.
It's a well-rested team as well. Where do you think the benefit came from having last week off?
He gave them a few extra days off. He did, Coach Tackett did, but they've been at it probably 8 or 9 of the last, 13, 14 days, 10 of working strictly on Johnson Central. And I think that's going to, I hope it benefits the Tomcats tonight. And I think it will. Johnson Central had to play last week, and of course they scored 60 and Greenup scored 40 or whatever it was. So that kind of gives you an idea that Johnson Central's defense ain't what it should be or could be maybe, but they may all change tonight. As soon as you say, this game's going to end up 45-44, it turns the other way and it's an 8-7 game. So, you say one thing and something else happens. So, but I really think there's going to be you better be able to score tonight or you're going to be in trouble.
We know how good Ashland is. We know how good that Johnson Central can be on offense. So what do they like to do? How do they like to get their points?
They just run the football. They put the quarterback. They don't run the shotgun at all. Quarterback goes, it's old-fashioned wishbone full house backfield. They put the quarterback up under the center. They got a fullback and 2 halfbacks. Sometimes they put those 2 halfbacks on the wings and put one of them in motion, and you know where the ball's going. And they don't pull any punches. And they got 2 double tight ends. Rarely do they have a split end. Sometimes they do, but rarely. And they got double tight ends, and they just block the heck out of you. And basically what they're trying to do is outnumber you. If they're going to run off the left side and they've got 5 guys over there and Ashland's only got 4, then we're outnumbered and they're going to gain yardage. So, that's basically their philosophy. Outnumber your opponent wherever it's left side, right side, up the gut, whatever it happens to be. And the other guys that are blocking, because they've got one terrific back in McCourt, and I think he's gained probably about 1,900 yards or something like that. But the other guys just block for him. So not only do you have your guard, your tackle, and your end and your center blocking, but then you got another fullback and another halfback blocking for him too. So if you get outnumbered, it's going to be a long night.
Is there another team on the schedule that maybe compares to Johnson Central, or are they pretty much a class among themselves?
Nope, there's not another team not on our schedule, not that runs the wishbone, full house backfield, double wings. Nobody does that. But of course we've seen them. We play them every year for the district championship. So it's just the way it is. So it's nothing unfamiliar. You can get the tape out from 2020 or 2019 or whatever you happen to do, and you'll say, same old Johnson Central.
So this is
they just come at you.
Yeah, this is like those situations where you play a team in conference every year. You know what they look like. They look the same. Their numbers might be different, but they look the same. They're the same offense. They don't do anything different. And it's just who wants it more, and usually those are the most fun. But I get it. I get it in high school that sometimes you got to go with what you have and run that style. Right. But is that deliberate on their part, or is it just because they got to play to their strengths?
No, that's what they've always done since the late Jim Matney took over for him back in early 2000, I guess, and built that program up to where they've won a couple of state championships and been state runner-up a couple of 3-4 times. He just built that program up. That was his style of football. And the guy that took over, Jesse Peckler, played for Coach Matney, and now he's the head coach. And that's the only style they know, and it's been so successful for him. why change? I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I always say.
Dicky Martin's with us. He is, of course, going to have the call of this one tonight. It's going to be on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. And I know we can't look ahead. Next week we can, but after this one, you wrap up the regular season against Simon Kenton, and hopefully, if all goes well tonight, you're going to be sitting pretty at home for a few weeks.
Yeah, we hope so. We got a home game. We'll have one home playoff game for sure because of being second in the district. So, and it'll be an opponent that we should be able to beat. But then you got to go on the road like we did last year, and we had to go up to Covcath, and they ended up in the state finals. So it's tough, but crazier things have happened. But if you can win tonight, you've got the home field advantage, less travel, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself because you beat a pretty good Johnson Central team, and you got to feel pretty good about yourself. And the rest of the teams around in 4A are going to go, Tomcats are for real, boys. So there you go.
Right, and we want to keep you off of I-64 as much as possible, too.
Oh, amen to that. That and the AA highway, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I'll just tell you now, there were people that were concerned about you that night. You were on I-64. They were texting in concerned about you.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I'm not making that up. There were people on our post game comparing their anger to you on I-64 when Marshall lost a couple weeks ago to Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
You left an impact on a few people.
That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Some people just can't drive. That's all there is,
Dicky Martin's my guest. Drive safely tonight. I know you get like what?
I will.
Like a 2-minute drive over to the stadium?
3-minute drive over to the stadium, and I'll be ready to go.
I'm surprised they just haven't built like a Dicky Martin suite for you just to stay over there.
Well, the press box is named after my father.
I know, but I'm talking about you.
It's more my father than me.
A suite for you. Like, just...
Oh, well, I have a nice facility there. I have a nice little room I'm in, and it does the job. I'm not complaining. It's good, and I like it.
Okay, but you could, stay there the entire morning. You could get your breakfast
there.
there.
You mean like a
suite.
full bath and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like a little Dicky Martin bed and bed and bath. Yeah, there you go.
Bed and breakfast, right?
Yeah, there you go. You would need a bath, too. Bread, but yeah.
Yes, yeah.
All of that.
Yeah, no question about that.
This is going to be a fun one tonight. We'll be tuned in, and hopefully the Tomcats can win, and we'll be talking to you next week.
You got a deal. Thanks, Paul, for having me on.
I appreciate you, sir. That's Dicky Martin, the legendary longtime voice of the Ashland Tomcats. We're going to get you caught up on what's happening with the Thundering Herd. We got Fans First coming up on Sunday. The Marshall men and women both in action, taking on U-Pike. We'll tell you more about it. Also, we'll hear from the head coach, Juli Fulks, when we continue, and later on as well, Cornelius Jackson. All of this coming up on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hey, Tri-State, there is a place to shop at. The Huntington's Peddlers Mall is now open in the historic Central City District in Huntington. Over 200 vendors specializing in vintage antiques, home decor, furniture, collectibles, new mattresses, and everything in between. Peddlers Mall, located 800 14th Street West in Huntington. It's the place to go. Open 7 days a week. Visit anytime. Check out the website, peddlersmall.com, for more information. It's the Tri-State place to shop, Huntington's Peddlers Mall.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. It's that time of year again, football season. Frank's has you covered from Marshall, WVU, the rest of college football to the NFL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials they have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check them out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Roosters at Pullman Square in Huntington. Over 40 TVs, hot wings, cold beer, and great daily specials. Roosters, a fun, casual joint. The Great Outdoors Marine in Lavallette, West Virginia. Your Tracker Marine and Bennington Pontoon headquarters. TheGreatOutdoorsMarine.com.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office,
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
How was your day? What did you do in school? I'm Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, and these 2 simple questions can encourage learning in your home. Showing interest and asking about the school day can help motivate your children and keep them excited about learning. So stay involved, stay curious, and ask specific questions. Student success involves the whole family.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We continue on with this Friday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. What do you got planned for this weekend? Since there's no Marshall game to talk about on Friday, we got 2 on Sunday. Fans first, as they like to call them. Those are exhibition games that are coming up Sunday at the Henderson Center, 4 and 6:30 p.m. And I do want to remind you one more time that you will need a ticket for those games. All you have to do is go to herdzone.com. There is a code you have to enter. It's fans first, and that will get you a reserved seat. You need a ticket for both games. They will not, being Marshall, will not clear the Henderson Center. However, you will need a ticket for your reserved seat. So if you want to go to both games, if you haven't got your tickets just yet, now's the time to get those tickets. And, of course, we'll see you Sunday at the Henderson Center. And speaking of Sunday at the Henderson Center, we'll get to see what the new look Marshall women's basketball team will look like. Juli Fulks in her first official exhibition game. And now, of course, I know the games overseas, those count, but this is going to be really the first time we truly get to see this team. And so the Thundering Herd in action with the women at 6:30. We'll get to see what this team is all about, how they play, how they'll differ from what Marshall looked like last year, and what stays the same. And, of course, there's a good core of players back. And when talking to Coach Fulks yesterday during her media availability, during what was called Media Day at Marshall, she talked about how the players have contributed, how it's been really a successful transition between coming in, having those players there, because without those vets there, and we'll talk about that with her in a minute as well, without those vets there, it might not have been an easy transition, but so far for her, it's been a successful transition.
Well, I think, honestly, collectively, it's all been really good. I think one of the nice things, if you're going to the positives with coaching turnover, they've gotten used to transition and how to make that successful for them. And so one of the things I've appreciated from the beginning was they had a willingness to learn and a willingness to try new things and have new systems. Obviously, everybody does things a little bit differently, and there's lots of ways to approach basketball. But I thought, when we came in, you never know how the first few weeks are going to go. And I think the leadership from above, all of the returning upperclassmen who already had gone through a coaching change, they found a way to make that successful. And one of the things that I just think that's really true of them and true from last year, winning is a culture. Winning's habits, losing are habits. And I thought that they have really understood, through their experiences last year's for the returners, being open to new things and trying new things that fit their strengths can have great results. And so I've appreciated that. I think as a collective group, we've had a really successful first 6 months together. And, and on top of that, they're great people and they're really fun to be around. I tell them all the time, and I think this is true, or I know this is true, we have spent a lot of time together. We're together more than we're with our families. We're together. We spend an immense amount of time in a calendar year together. And so we want to remember that the basketball part's really important, but we should also have a really good time and enjoy it too, because otherwise we've spent a large part of our lives in livelihood doing something together that if we're not having fun, we need to kind of reevaluate how we have fun and get after it on the court. And of course, everybody thinks winning is fun, so that's a highlight too.
Winning is fun. Yes, for some fans, that's all that matters. Winning is fun. Winning is the only thing. Of course, the goal is to win the game, but she's got a good point there. If you're not having fun doing it, what's the real point here? So it's been a successful transition so far for her and this team, and she was asked a little bit more about that as far as the veterans are concerned. She does inherit a core group of players. They won last year. They know what it takes to win. They know what the program is about. Some have been there longer than others, but still, she said that the veterans, the returners, have been very helpful, very key in helping with the transition. Also, there's a lot of learning going on, not just from her, but teaching her about what Marshall's all about.
Oh, it's been great. I think, I appreciate many things about the returners on top of their basketball skills and abilities. But one of the things that they've been really helpful is just in the transition of the learning. How do things work here? Whether I need to, have them come in and let's talk through, how do you guys like to travel? What worked really well? How do we like to do all these different things? The basketball court is one piece, but we have to do a lot of different parts. And so I think their willingness to help our staff through every part of the transition has been great. They want to be great leaders. They want to continue to learn how they can kind of grow as people, not just on the court. And so I think that part has been awesome. But, the piece that I mentioned earlier, I really think winning and losing is a habit. And at the end of the day, in some games, you just have to have a gut level refusal to lose and know what that feels like. And for us, that's going to be a piece that we lean on heavily because there's going to be moments that come down to 50-50 balls and all the other things that can, sway end of game things. And part of that is just knowing how to react to those moments, knowing how to react to hostile crowds. Obviously, when we go up to Toledo, that's a hard place to play. And so we're going to need that leadership to help us get through those games when there's going to be tough moments and everybody's going to make runs. And all of that will carry over to help us be successful.
Juli Fulks, her comments from yesterday, media day for the Thundering Herd. And one question from the media to Coach was just about the team buy-in. We've got a team that has gone, for the returners, for some of them, this is their third coach. So they've been through several transitions already. And to come in to be the new coach, you've got to get sort of a buy-in from the team. And also with new players coming in this day and age of the transfer portal, that's going to be more prevalent than ever. You're going to have new people come in, and you got to get that team chemistry. So Coach talked about what that buy-in has been like and how that team chemistry has formed.
Yeah, team chemistry is a huge part of this. We have got to want to play for each other more than we want to play for ourselves and our personal goals. And that was one of the places that Italy went a long way. I mean, we were very intentional about everything we did in Italy in terms of kind of groups and tables and meals. And we just wanted to make sure we maximize that time together and that we maximize them getting to know different, members of the team. And so a lot of things that we have done has been about building team chemistry and team culture. You've got to know who the people are. You've got to know what drives them. You got to know why they want to have, why they want to have the success that we have. And so, I think that is one of the pieces we have been really intentional as a staff about. And it matters in terms of, if you're new coming in, you've got to feel comfortable right away in terms of what you're able to do on the court and the people that you're playing with. And so we need both sides. We need the returners to be really great. We need all the new players to come in and get acclimated quickly and have roles and do their parts really well. And I think they've been awesome as a group in making sure that we're building that chemistry and that trust so that we can perform on the court.
That's Juli Fulks. Earlier in the week, we had Media Day, opportunity for her to get us set for Marshall taking on U-Pike on Sunday. It's going to be 6:30 p.m. for the women. The men will play previously in the day or prior to that at 4 p.m. So you've got a busy Marshall weekend on Sunday. Actually, Sunday is going to be pretty busy for you. If you're going to try to hit everything, you're going to have to first hit the Marshall women's game. Soccer's taking on JMU. That's Sunday at 1 p.m. And then you're going to make your way down to the Henderson Center. The men take on U-Pike at 4 p.m. And then you're sticking around and you're going to hit the concession stands real quick, come back, and get your seat. And it's going to be the women taking on U-Pike at 6:30 p.m. So this is going to be an opportunity for both the men and women to sort of see what they've got, put it in a little bit more context. The women, I'm sure, have a better idea, at least an initial idea after the trip to Italy. So is there something that the coach is looking to see, she's wanting to take away from this matchup on Sunday? She was asked something along those lines, and she talked about just what the general process will be. She didn't go into any specifics of what they're going to work on, but she talked about in general what the process is going to be for this Herd team to get better.
Yeah, I think we had a scrimmage last weekend, and that gave us our next kind of set of data on what we're working on to respond. And I think, the best teams, the best professionals, everybody who's successful in life, you're able to do something, get results, and then, address those results honestly. And so I thought in the scrimmage, we got really clear results on what parts were going well and then what parts we needed to work on. And so we've spent this week on Monday, we had a lot of film, but we had a very clear goals on the things that we were going to get better at this week. And then Sunday is just going to be kind of our data check. Okay, what worked? What did we get better at? And then we're going to do the same thing heading into Toledo. But that'll be our sequence for all year. Every game just gives us live feedback of where we are in terms of the goals we're trying to meet and what are we doing that works and what are we needing to address so that when we get in the postseason, we've kind of got it all figured out.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, that is Coach's comments from yesterday. We'll hear more from her on Sunday as Marshall takes on U-Pike. That's going to be a 6:30 tip. Previous experience shows that you've got to get there early. If you want to get a good seat, get your tickets now. Men's game at 4, women's game at 6:30. Should be a good crowd for both games. When we continue, we're going to hear from Cornelius Jackson. Also, we're going to hear from you. Our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Texting enrolls you into reoccurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text BODY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BODY to 321-321. That's BODY to 321-321.
Hey guys, do you want male performance in the bedroom and do you want it now? Get it in 47 seconds or less. For the first time, you can have instant male enhancement. Introducing Nox 47, the topical male enhancement that works in 47 seconds or less. Satisfaction guaranteed. Finally, after years of scientific research, our proprietary formula will allow you to perform in the bedroom like never before. Just imagine that little blue pill on steroids. No reason to settle and wait when you can get instant performance now. Forget about pills and potions that make you wait hours or up to 30 days to work. That's yesterday's news. Nox 47 is brand new. The hottest thing for men. And you don't need a prescription. Call now and get your free supply for a limited time.
Find out how to get Nox 47 for free. Call now, 800-481-9964. That's 800-481-9964. Free bottles for a limited time. Call 800-481-9964. That's 800-481-9964.
Heritage Farm. Explore the artistry of local craftsmen in our Artisan Center, where blacksmiths showcase their skills. Meet the animals in our Critter Corner and Nature Center. Looking for adventure? We have it for you, from our mountain bike park, zip lining, and ropes course, our bouldering rock wall, and don't forget the Appalachian-inspired museums throughout the farm. For artisans, animals, adventure, and art, it's waiting for you at Heritage Farm. Plan your visit today, heritagefarmwv.com. Plus, get your tickets for Christmas Village starting November 1st. Heritage Farm, where tradition and adventure come together.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Our text line this hour is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Let's start clearing some of these out. Here's an interesting one. I think I had a chance to answer this one yesterday. Texter said, Paul, what's your favorite Marshall men's football and basketball teams of all time? Mine would be the 96 football team and definitely the 17 team for basketball. I'm going to say for football, that's tough because I was a big fan growing up of the teams in the late 80s. You know, I was a big fan of Tony Peterson. You know, that 87 team meant something to me because that was really, I was so young with that. That was kind of like the, hey, Marshall can do this. And I thought the 88 team was pretty special as well. I think they could have gone further. 92, I'm kind of partial to a little bit. Because, I knew Michael Payton. I mean, we weren't friends, like we weren't besties or anything. But, he was in the broadcasting curriculum, so he worked at WMUL for a little time. And, I would, see him occasionally when he was back at Marshall. And, of course, I remembered him more than he remembered me. But still, I was a student at Marshall for the 92 game. And so that one meant something to me as well. And I guess if we're narrowing these down to maybe teams that won significant bowls or won championships, I would say 92 probably is the team that I hope that gets remembered a little bit better. And, of course, my friend Jason Toys on that team. He was a tight end on the Marshall team. Of course, Jason does great work with MRN Radio, and Jason's going to be the new basketball voice of the Ohio Bobcats, and he calls Cabell Midland games. So, I have a connection, very limited, but I'm fond of that 92 team as far as football is concerned. Now, for basketball, that one's kind of a difficult one for me because I was a big fan of Skip Henderson as a kid, and I'm also a fan of John Taft. And so those teams, those Huck Herd teams probably mean a little bit more to me. I think that I'm probably going to lean towards those teams in the 80s, just a little bit more. The team that rolled through here a few years ago that had Shaq Johnson on it was a Dago Pena as well. Some of those guys, I'm pretty fond of them. I think basketball, it's harder to pick because, you've got so many guys that come in. It's a smaller group, so you get to know them a little bit better. But I'm going to say as a kid growing up, those teams in the 80s, probably those Huck's Herd teams meant a little bit more for me. This new Thundering Herd team might mean something for someone here in the future. It's it's Cornelius Jackson's time to be the head coach. And that was something he talked about when he was asked about, like, what was one of the things that as a coach now that, he discovered was different, more challenging? What was something that he wasn't expecting, or how's his life changed? You kind of get where the question was going. And one of the big differences from being an assistant now to being the head coach, Coach Jackson said in his remarks yesterday, is time.
I think the biggest change has been the time. It's a little bit more time demanding than as assistant. You're pretty much worrying about recruiting, and then you're worried about scouting reports, obviously, when the season starts. But since taking over as a head coach, now it's recruiting, it's meeting, it's yesterday we were out passing out season tickets. We left the season tickets, and then we were at the student union, just passing out folders, just trying to get some student engagement. So mainly just the time commitment that it takes to being a head coach is probably the biggest adjustment for me.
Yeah, he's the CEO now. He's the guy that's the figurehead over the organization. I mean, he pointed out yesterday it's still everybody's team. It's not his team, but he's the figurehead there because he's going to be the head coach. And so he's the guy that's he's got the keys, so that means the guy with the keys is doing the driving here. So one of the questions that was asked of him, because one of the questions that was asked of Corny, just looking at his past, looking at his roots, where he came from, who he learned under, what did he gain? What did he learn from being under, of course, Dan D'Antoni, but also at West Virginia State, Brian Poore?
Each stop was different. I got my start from Coach Poore at West Virginia State. I spent 6 years with him. Then I went to UT Martin and was with Jason James and then Gary Waters. A lot of you guys has been around here for a while. You remember that name. He was at Kent State back when I was a player here. And then here at Marshall under Coach D'Antoni. Learned something different at each spot. Coach Waters was a defensive guy. So, he kind of spent a lot of time on defense. Jason James kind of gave me the freedom to come in. We were around the same age. He was a younger head coach. So he gave me the freedom to do a lot of things. Coach Poore, we had a previous relationship, obviously, from here. And Coach and I kind of thought alike on how we wanted things to look at West Virginia State in terms of being aggressive and playing hard and being athletic. But learned a lot from Coach, and then obviously came here. After Coach Waters came here with Coach D'Antoni and learned a lot from him. He gave me the freedom to expand and grow as a head coach, and for that, I'm always indebted to him.
And one other thing that was asked is about those West Virginia roots. After all, it was important for Dan D'Antoni to have that West Virginia flavor, have that West Virginia foundation. And so what is that like for Coach Jackson to kind of continue that and to also build upon that and have those West Virginia roots in how he's going about it?
It means a lot. My focus is again, to bring the best talent possible, to here to Marshall University to represent this program in a high regard, high manner. And we look amongst the state first, before we look anywhere else. And I think the state has some talented people. Obviously, Mike Dawson, you talk about the Rob Forfords. We have Mark Klein on staff. We have Adam Williams, who was Player of the Year in the state of West Virginia, went to Kentucky, came back and played at Marshall. So, again, we want to look inward first before we start, looking outward, but, bringing talented people to the table, whether it's players, whether it's coaches, whether it's people on my staff or on our staff, is really important to me.
And one quick one before we go. Here's Coach just talking about getting ready for U-Pike.
Well, we've been trying to throw different situations at them to try to prepare them for that. Again, our focus is the process. We understand that Rome wasn't built in a day. So our focus right now is just being 1% better every day. Our jobs as coaches, me as the head coach, our assistant coaches, is to throw kind of different wrinkles at them and see how they respond. But, playing against a different opponent that may bring a different aspect. At the end of the day, it's still basketball, but everybody plays a little different. So they'll bring a different aspect on Sunday. So it'll be interesting to see how well our guys respond to that.
And that's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you on Monday. I hope to see a lot of you at the game on Sunday, both the men and women in action. Get your tickets now at herdzone.com. It's a free game, but if you want a ticket, you got to go to the website. Get your tickets. There's a code you need to enter, fans first. It is reserved seating, so if you're planning on taking your family, I'm sure you already have, but if you haven't, you got a couple of days to get your ticket so you can be a part of this one. And then we'll be back with you on Monday as we'll be getting ready for another week of Marshall football, and we'll have some basketball to talk about and look forward to. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.